Do you people please, or do you know people who do? Do you find yourself saying yes when you mean no? That's people pleasing, and I'm going to talk about that today because I've noticed I'm doing that a lot more these days, and I don't know why. So, watch till the end of this video because we're going to talk about why we do that. What's the root cause of it, and then how can we stop it? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So, welcome back to the forest. I'm glad y'all are here with me today. I'm going to tell you some stories that have happened in my life recently, but I want you to think about areas in your life or situations in your life where maybe you've people pleased just a little bit. I was kind of surprised because I don't think of myself as a people pleaser. I think of people pleaser as those people who are always saying yes or always apologizing for themselves, those kind of people. And I don't think of myself like that. But recently, and again, think about situations in your life that maybe end up being like this. But I was at a restaurant recently and I ordered a meal and I just got an appetizer. I was planning on getting a nice big fancy meal. The appetizer filled me up, and so I didn't end up getting more of the meal. Just paying for the appetizer. Somewhere in my brain, I've learned along the way that the waitress or the waiter, the wait staff, they're there and they're helping you. And the more you spend, obviously, the more you tip, so the more they get paid. And so somewhere I thought I've learned that if I'm taking up space in this restaurant and I'm not buying a full meal, then I'm not really tipping the waitress as much as she deserves. And I could have just tipped her more anyway. Anyway, I found myself apologizing to the waitress. I kept saying, I'm sorry, I meant to get something more, but I'm not. I kept apologizing, and she kept looking at me like I was weird, because I was actually being weird in retrospect. I was being weird apologizing. She's like, why are you apologizing for eating? You're a paid customer. Some part of my brain told me I needed to apologize. And then a couple days later, I have to go to the dentist. I'm having some issues with my teeth, surprisingly. Aren't they beautiful? And I actually have to go tomorrow to have a tooth fixed. But when I was at the dentist recently, I was kind of apologizing to him. They were giving me a night guard and they were fitting it. And I almost thought about not doing it that day, and I started apologizing to the dentist and, wasting their time, taking up appointment time when I know they could have had someone else. And the dentist also was looking at me like, why are you apologizing, dude? Like, there's no reason for you to be apologizing. And so what I've realized recently is those are examples of my people pleasing. I'm trying to make people happy. I'm afraid of hurting their feelings or something. I don't know where that's coming from, but I do know where it's coming from. If I dig down deep, I think we all learn those behaviors as children. We talk a lot on this channel about that inner child and how much our childhoods impact how we behave today as adults. And that inner child, when we were children, we had to learn for survival instincts to be pleasing to our parents, to be pleasing to our environment, even in school, making our teachers happy and our other classmates happy. We are taught that in order to survive, to do well in life, we have to please other people. And I know I was taught that from a very early age. And I know people now who, do a lot of self-development type stuff when they talk about making a list of their character defects. And I've always said, I don't believe in character defects. I believe in no longer useful assets, because that people pleasing was an asset for my survival when I was a child. It doesn't help me now. It's no longer needed, but it helped me then. But then, is it still needed? I think in a way it kind of is. If, for example, I think that behavior was reinforced. Oh, here come some people. I gotta go. Hold on. Well, there were two perfect examples of what I'm talking about here. One, people came by, I quickly put my stuff away, and then I had a buddy kept calling and calling. I was like, you know what? I feel bad, but I put that contact on silent because I know I won't be able to get finished with this recording if I do that. So see, here I am people pleasing. Here I am worried about making other people happy and not taking care of myself. So that's the why. And I was going to say, in the corporate world, we're trained also. I was trained to continue that behavior. I had to make sure all the people above me were pleased. I had to make sure that all the people that were my direct reports were pleased so they didn't report me to the people above me. So I constantly also had to just keep that mindset of people pleasing throughout my corporate career. So I think we're taught to continue that as adults also. And we just want it for people like us, like me. I like to keep the harmony. And so it's sometimes easier to just acquiesce to other people and say, yes, I'll do it when I really want to say no. So let's talk about, and that's the why it happens. And let's talk about ways that we can kind of stop it. Because I think in the end, we need to understand like what's really going on inside of our heads. Because what's going on is the inner child is trying to people please, trying to avoid conflict, which I'm really great at trying to do. Um, but in the end, there are two different things that I want you to think about. One, I've kind of learned that we aren't being honest with people. We think we're being nice and kind, but we really aren't being honest with people about how we feel. And so we're kind of cheating other people of knowing who we are, like what our real goals and dreams are. I mean, I know that sounds kind of big, but in the end, we really are giving a different face to who we really are. We're showing a different mask. And that's one key. Thinking about what that does to our brain and how we're not being fair to these other people. The other thing I really want you to think about, and this is something I have to think about a ton, is we're teaching other people how to treat us. That's the key. Is when I acquiesce to people, when I just say yes when I mean no, when I answer the phone call and I don't want to, I'm teaching other people that they can treat me that way, in a way that's kind of self-disrespect, and learning how to respect myself. If I'm constantly doing that, then I'm not respecting myself, and I'm teaching other people it's okay to not respect me also and respect my time. And so once I've realized that, and this is where gratitude comes in for me personally, is I'm grateful to have that awareness. I'm grateful to see these moments when I am being a people pleaser. Because if I don't have these moments, these reflections of the waitress and the dentist showing me this, then I wouldn't know it and I'd continue this behavior. I'm very thankful that I'm seeing this stuff. So what do I do? How do we finally stop this people pleasing? I think one of the biggest things for me personally is I've learned how to say, let me look at my calendar. Let me look at my calendar. People love putting me on the spot just now with this phone call. Someone's going to put me on the spot saying, can you do this? Can you do that? And on the spot, I tend to say yes when I don't mean to say yes. So I've had to learn to practice saying, let me look at my calendar. Let me look at my calendar. And the thing is, we also have to get accustomed to the idea that we're not going to please everybody. We can't possibly do that. And there are going to be people that aren't going to be happy when we say no. And we have to be okay with that. We have to honor ourselves and respect ourselves enough to be honest with them too, and respect them. Honest with them and let them know, no, I can't do this right now. And you may say, well, I look at my calendar and I don't have time that day. I'm busy. I have other obligations. Sometimes the people will be like, well, what do you got going on? It doesn't matter. And here's the final point. No is a full sentence, and that's hard to learn also. I try to keep reminding myself that all the time. No is a full sentence. I don't have to say no because, no because, no because. I should be able to just say no. No, I don't want to do this. Or no, I can't do this. And that should be okay. And I have a hard time. I feel like I have to justify my nose. I have to justify my nose. But we don't have to. No is a complete sentence, and it's good to learn that as well. So I hope that helps you think about your own situation, whether there are people in your life that you feel like maybe you're people pleasing, and you can honor them a little bit more by allowing them to be honest. But if you find that you're the person who's people pleasing, find some gratitude in recognizing that behavior. Take it easy on yourself. Try these different things of different patterns to break the pattern of your thought and say, I don't have to answer right now. I can say no. Let me check my calendar. I practice that one. Let me check my calendar. And start small. Practice in a little thing like this here. Someone's calling, you don't want to talk to them, put them on silent. I had the whole phone on silent and somehow the call still came through. So little tiny no's. Practice those little no's. It's like a muscle at the gym. The more you practice it, the stronger it's going to get. So I hope that you all enjoy this kind of stuff. I enjoy it. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment and let me know what kind of topics you want to talk about. I like talking about this sort of stuff, like people pleasing. I want to know what you want to talk about next. If you'd like to support this channel, I would really appreciate that. You can support it financially even. I'll leave a link to my Ko-Fi page. It's kind of like that buy me a coffee type thing, but even a little tiny donation makes a big difference. And I really appreciate that. Of course, please like and subscribe, because when you do that, it lets YouTube know who to send these videos out to. So I hope that you all are having a great week. Let me know. Keep me posted. Please stay grateful. Please stay kind. And as always, I'm grateful for each and every one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.